Hey stranger, welcome back to Statistics, Data for Movies. I'm Elizabeth, your host, and today we have our second compare and contrast for the season. We're analyzing two characters that are arguably the most polarizing movie characters of all time. It is going to be fantastic. Today's movie is the fifth installment in the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Historically, Harry Potter has received commendation for its in-depth, emotionally stirring characters, particularly its female characters. In a survey of over 400 notable actors, producers, and directors, Hermione Granger nabs the top spot as most iconic female character of all time. But, though we will be analyzing Hermione as well, the real reason I picked the fifth Harry Potter movie was Dolores Umbridge, who has also received critical acclaim as the most hated character of all time. So today we have a fascinating compare and contrast between Hermione Granger, beloved heroine, who scores a disappointing 65, and Dolores Umbridge, universally hated toad, who scores a 73. There are a couple of obvious places to distinguish these two, namely billing and screen time. If you watch the FemmeMeter special, which I would highly recommend, link in the description, you'll remember that these variables are tagged to the production and direction teams, and correlated with type of character. Hermione was billed third and had 23 minutes of screen time, whereas Umbridge was billed 15th and had 14 minutes of screen time. These screen time numbers are typically more in line with that of a supporting character, which is one of the reasons that Hermione, who's supposed to be a main character, has such a low final score. To be fair, this movie is mostly about Harry's inward struggle for greatness, meaning that there are multiple shots of just him throughout the movie. Even still, Hermione has the second highest screen time of anyone else, and Harry's more than doubles it. It doesn't leave a lot of room for secondary plots. Despite having 2/3 of her screen time, Umbridge has almost 3 times as many plot movements as Hermione does. This is where the two most diverge, and where Umbridge gains back all the points that she lost from her low billing score. Umbridge is unmatched in terms of her screen time to plot ratio. Every moment that she's on screen is utilized to its fullest extent, and without her, the story completely falls apart. She's as evil as she is irreplaceable, constantly changing the plot, creating obstacles, and generally wreaking havoc on those around her. Consequently, Umbridge passes all 5 thresholds to score a 5 out of 5 on agency. Hermione, on the other hand, just kind of stands there and falls victim to the tourist trap that we mentioned in episode 3. There are a few moments that she has, like when she starts Dumbledore's army and when she concocts the plan to leave Umbridge in the woods, but nothing that's either plot-shaping or specific to her character. This Hermione-Umbridge FemmeMeter dynamic got me thinking. Does Hollywood find it easier to give agency to a woman who's evil rather than a woman who's good? Psychologically, this kind of makes sense. As women are progressing towards all kinds of roles, it might make it easier for audiences to stomach a woman with agency so long as we're supposed to hate her anyway. I ran some analysis on it, and in my dataset, it holds true. My evil female characters scored at least a point higher on their agency scores than my good female characters. Nothing's for certain, but I'll keep an eye out for the rest of the season to see if it holds true. Our final scores have Hermione Granger at a relatively low 65 and Dolores Umbridge at a pretty solid 73. I was initially, to use a British term, flabbergasted by the scores that the FemmeMeter turned out for this movie. But I completely stand by them. So, fight with me in the comments. See you next time.